I generally try to keep my cases private, but I'm willing to share just this one because it's so noteworthy. I was working a case for this woman a few years back. She was an absolutely gorgeous lady. Youthful, slender, dark eyes and hair. A real catch. Yet despite all of that, she thought that her husband was cheating on her behind her back. I asked her what aroused her suspicions. Had she found lipstick on one of his shirt collars? And the smell of another woman's fragrance on his clothes? She said that she had no physical evidence. She just said that her husband had started acting a little off, coming home an hour or two later than usual, seeming a little colder and more distant. She figured he had taken a lover. Well, the wife had plans to stay at her parents' place that weekend, so what we decided to do was lay a trap to find out for sure. When her husband was at work, she let me into their house to place a few nanny cams and audio collecting devices around the joint. In my country, that's all above board and legal. Makes the job a lot easier than in some other places. Now let me tell you, their house was an absolute palace, and it turns out that the rich one in the relationship was her. Gorgeous and rich. I remember thinking that her husband must be an absolute moron if he was cheating on a broad like this. All the cameras were in place, and the woman leaves for her parents' place while I monitor the footage from my van outside. A couple of hours pass, and sure enough, in walks the woman's husband. This unremarkable sales type. A real suit. If a guy like this was cheating on a girl like that, he must be a real idiot. Another hour or two go by as I just watch this guy lazing around the house. Surveillance can be the worst. Sure enough though, someone eventually comes to the door. Busted, I think to myself. But it's not a woman. It's another man. Okay, now things were starting to make sense. But it's not what you think. This wasn't a lover's rendezvous. This was a business transaction. As I listen in to the conversation, it starts to become apparent what's going on. The guy at the door was a hitman. The suit wanted his wife dead, presumably so he could inherit her huge fortune. While his wife was away, this bozo was showing the would-be killer the layout of the house to make his job easier. That was their plan, to make it look like a home invasion gone wrong. The husband was going to conveniently be away from home on the night it happened. Had this woman not come to me when she did, she'd have had days, literally days, left to live. Needless to say, I contacted the police immediately. Of course, the two of them denied everything, but I had all the evidence needed to ensure they'd go down for conspiracy to commit murder. That's 2 life sentences right there, and 1 life saved. So there you have it. Those 2 arseholes are rotting in a cell somewhere. The woman got more for her money than she could have ever imagined, and when people ask what the most interesting case I ever worked was, I get to tell this story and feel like a bit of a hero.